How I got to be living in Spain was I started off going with my mummy on a holiday to Mallorca when I was 21. We had a lovely holiday, horse riding, swimming, doing all the things. And towards the end of the holiday, went to get our hair done in the local salon. And the owner of the salon, he became aware that I was a hairdresser, and he offered me a job because his wife, who had been working with him, was expecting a baby and not able to work. I thought, this is a great opportunity, but I'm really not sure about it. But all the way back home, coming home again, Mummy kept saying I was offered an apartment. The chappie said he would look after me properly, obviously a job, an apartment and a decent salary. And I thought, this is an opportunity I can't miss. So I gave him my notice, and 3 weeks later went over to Spain. I sent him a letter saying I was coming. Obviously it was the times before mobile phones and all that sort of thing. So I sent a letter saying I was coming over, got a little taxi from the airport to where they lived, which was called San Francisco. It was a one-street town, houses both sides, and everybody used to sit out on the road watching their TV because it was too hot to be inside. But there was only about 20 houses there in San Francisco. Arrived and didn't know which one to go to, but knocked on doors, and the chap came eventually, and he said, well, I didn't know you were coming. I said, well, I sent a letter 2 weeks ago. Oh, it hadn't arrived yet. And I thought, oh no, and I was nearly in tears, you can imagine. But he just said, okay, don't worry, we'll put you into, we have an apartment to spare one here, so they let me stay there. And I was hairdressing with him during the day. His brother owned the local riding stables, so I used to sell tickets for the rides at night and take all the tourists out on jaunts out to the caves with the sangria in the caves and all this sort of thing. So I would work from 9 in the morning, 3 hours off every lunchtime until 8 in the evening, and then 9 o'clock in the evening I'd take the evening ride, which normally got back about 11:30 at night. And I was absolutely in my element. It was a great time. And there, whilst I was there for 2 years, and that's where I met my future husband, who was Spanish, lovely boy. But he kept asking me out, and I kept saying no chance. He said, come and see, he was in a band at the time, come and see me play in the disco. I said, yes, I'm sorry, I don't do discos and things. Oh, what do you do in the evening? I said, I ride horses. I said, can you ride? Yes, said he. I thought, right, okay, we'll see. So I took him out. I was on a stallion that I always rode that hated men, so it was absolutely fine. And there was La Yegua, they called her, which is the mare, and she was inseparable from the stallion. So I absolutely took him for quite a hard ride, poor man. I could see him bouncing around in the saddle. He wasn't really a horse rider at all. He'd been on horses a few times, but not much. And took him through some orchards, and he was nearly knocked off with the trees and all this sort of thing, but not one complaint, never a complaint. So I thought, right, this chappie, yeah, there's something to him, definitely. So a few days later, I went to the club and saw him sing in the club, and then that's history. Married him 2 years later, but insisted on coming back to Great Britain because I said, you have to know me in my country. And we got married over here in Great Britain, and then I went back to Spain, travelled with him with the band, travelled all over the world, had a wonderful life. 10 years later, started our family, and we had a boy and a girl, and I wouldn't change a thing. Everything was just perfect. I've been very fortunate and had a very lucky life.